Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at CatholicMindsetCoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Here we are, a day at a time, the reflection from January 1st. I used to see everything in terms of forever. Endless hours were spent rehashing old mistakes. I tried to take comfort in the forlorn hope that tomorrow would be different. As a result, I lived a fantasy life in which happiness was all but non-existent. No wonder I rarely smiled and hardly ever laughed aloud. Do I still think in terms of forever? Today I pray. May I set my goals for the new year not at the year-long mark, but one day at a time. My traditional New Year's resolutions have been so grandly stated and so soon broken. Let me not weaken my resolve by stretching it to cover forever, or even one long year. May I reapply it firmly each new day. May I learn not to stamp my past mistakes with that indelible word, forever. Instead, may each single day in each new year be freshened by my newfound hope. Today I will remember. Happy New Day. Hope. That keeps coming back to me. The decision to choose hope. There was a time in October of last year, almost a year from now, where I started writing I choose hope on random pieces of paper all over the place in books I was reading, often on my work schedule for the day. I would write I period, choose period, hope period to see it every time I looked at my schedule that day, which was many, many times, to remind myself that despite how I felt, I really wanted to choose a posture of hope because I saw that as the only way out of my misery, and I didn't want to be miserable anymore. I wanted something better, and that was good. That is so huge. That is something that even then I could be grateful for. I think that I actually wanted something better. I wasn't resigning myself to the present misery. And that is a huge, huge form of progress in my own recovery. I used to just roll over and assume, and I still do this in various ways, but my MO would just be like, I guess this is just the way it is, and there's nothing anyone can do from that point. And you feel depressed because it's depressing. And so hearing this reflection about hope, it really is like a song to my heart. And to apply it just on a daily basis. The name of this podcast is A Day at a Time. We live a day at a time. There's the saying in program, you can't stay clean on yesterday's shower. And right now it's like the hot, sweaty months of August, and I'm very aware of the literal meaning of that phrase. But at the same time, it has a completely spiritual meaning as well. Because each day I'm not the same person moment to moment. Like the quote that inspires me one day won't inspire me the next day, or I'm in a different mood another day, or I have a different thought, or something happens. Things are always happening. Things are always in flux. They're waxing and waning. They're ebbing and flowing. And so to know that all I have is this moment, this day, is actually very comforting because it helps me narrow my focus. Because when I try to expand anywhere bigger than that, I get very overwhelmed. And when I'm overwhelmed, I want to hide. And when I hide, that's me acting in my disease. And so forever is not a helpful goal for me personally. This line in the beginning, endless hours were spent rehashing old mistakes. I tried to take comfort in the forlorn hope that tomorrow, quote unquote, would be different. So, first off, spending hours rehashing old mistakes. And we hear in the promises that we will not regret the past or wish to shut the door on it, something like that. And that is always something that I like, it makes me grit my teeth a little bit because I'm not there yet totally. And recently, just recently, like, got a little mini breakthrough that I'm still processing. Anyway, I'm super intrigued and grateful. But 10 years in, guys, 10 years in, one day at a time. It takes time. This work takes time. But this spending hours rehashing old miseries and mistakes, I think that I did that first off just because I'd get stuck in the memory and in the pain. And it's almost like misery begets more misery, and I would just start to spiral down the drain. But the other part of it is I think that some part of me believed that if I felt bad enough about it, that would like make reparation for it. Or if I felt bad enough about it, I wouldn't do it again. Just like with my eating, if I shamed myself enough about how disgusting I was and the way I ate, I wouldn't eat again. And that's not true because we don't act honorably from a place of being put to shame. The human person just doesn't respond that way. We rise to the occasion when we are loved to the occasion. And that's what the fellowship does. That's part of the power of the fellowship. But they comment on this trying to take comfort in the forlorn hope. Taking comfort in the forlorn hope. And I looked up the word forlorn because that's such an oxymoron. It's such a paradox to me to see those two words put next to each other. And it means pitifully sad and abandoned or lonely. And then unlikely to succeed or be fulfilled. Hopeless. It means hopeless. So this hopeless hope, I tried to take comfort in the hopeless hope that tomorrow would be different. So you have this idea that you don't even believe. You're hanging on to this quote unquote comfort that there is no hope. And I want to challenge you. I think the reason why that is a comfort for us who find ourselves in the rooms of the 12 steps, is that means all the lies I tell myself, all the harsh things I believe about how rotten and useless and worthless I am, if there is no hope, that means they're all true. And that means that I have no work to do. I just have to surrender myself to hopelessness, into abandonment and loneliness and my disease and my addiction. And so I want to tell you that is not true. That as long as you're breathing, you're capable of change. As long as you're breathing, hope is a real thing. And if you can't wrap your fingers around it, borrow it from someone who has it, because it is real and it is alive and it is something that can be learned. Hope is real. Hope is in the program. Hope is in the rooms. Hope is the root of a recovered person. And we only need to have hope in today. With that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.